Welcome. And for wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, and for some of you, good evening. We are delighted that you're here with us today, and we've got another special episode and a repeat guest that you all have really ranted and raved about. But I'm not going to be the one that spills the beans. That's for my partner over there. And for those of you who don't know us, I'm Dr. D. Haggerty.
And I'm April Rains Volk. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for dropping in with us tonight. We have, I think, a really, really exciting show so far. We've done two that have been great to this point. Now we're about ready to get into the meat and potatoes that I think a lot of you have really asked us about and had questions about. So in our first segment, we talked about women's clothing styles and sizes, ways that we can adapt what we buy and what we wear to ensure that it really highlights the best of the features that we have and when we're trying to create a female presentation for an assigned male at birth body. And got a lot of great tips on that one. Next, in our next segment, we talked about shapewear, how to squeeze those parts that might not quite fit where we want them to be or how we want them to look by using shapewear. And so we've begun really now with that one to build from the bottom up, from the inside out. Today, we're going to talk about the basics of undergarments, bras and panties, right? We're going to talk a little bit everything. And we have that wonderful person from the Breast Form store who has led us down this path so well so far, Eden. And so Eden's going to take us through all of this, and Dee and I are going to try and just stay out of the way because she is marvelous. So with that, I am going to welcome Eden onto the stage and bring her in. Hi, Eden. How are you?
Hi, lovely to see you too and everyone watching.
And you as well. We noticed the beautiful red hair. It is gorgeous and a change.
Thank you. It's summertime, so I wanted to go for my Little Mermaid look. So
that's awesome. That's wonderful. Well, so here we are. I know you have a lot to talk with us about. And so I'll just kind of let you start, and Dee and I, as we have questions, we'll throw something into you. But if you need us to just step in for a second so you can breathe, just kind of give us the high sign or something.
We don't have any problem
you guys
talking.
know I can yap.
No, we have no problem talking. We'll just embarrass each other by doing something, right? So, all right, go ahead.
All right. So I think you said it best by saying we'll start from the bottom up. There is so much to talk about when we talk about bras and panties, but specifically we'll start with panties and then we'll work to bras and everything like that. There are so many different types of panties. I know previously we talked about padded panties and shapewear. So definitely go back and watch that if you haven't yet. But I did want to briefly touch on some of the elements of shapewear panties and things like that and how that crosses over into other styles of panties. So really simply here, I have this very, very basic shapewear. This one is actually meant to be a padded panty for the backside. It's got these little hidden pockets in the back where the padding would go. But what's interesting about this is when we talk about different types of panties, there's different cuts and different waist heights. So this is a high-waisted panty. So as you see holding up to me, my belly button is about here. So it's meant to come quite high up, and the idea of the design is it's meant to smooth and shape and everything like that. So you've got your high waist panties, you've got your mid-rise, which is normally above that hip bone, but below the belly button. And then you can have more of your low-rise cut panties. So this is an example of something higher cut. And on the back side, it's obviously a lot fuller, Luckily, I'm wearing all black, so it's easy to see. So there's a lot more coverage to cover the derriere. So that's one of the most full coverage styles of panties. Sometimes you'll hear people refer to something that is a full coverage panty by it's almost like a derogatory term of like granny panties being something that does fully cover all of the nether regions, as it were. Though normally when we talk about the term granny panties, it's something loose and billowy rather than something that hugs close to the body.
Right.
And now there are cuter styles of panties that can still technically be considered in that wheelhouse. So this one is another shaping panty. Again, it's higher waisted, but more as an example to my belly button. It is a little sleeker, a little softer with that nice breathable, silky feeling fabric with the idea that, again, a little bit more revealing on the backside rather than give me a quick second. I'm going to just kind of demo this here a little bit better. Where the full brief comes all the way down to fully cover where your bum would be. This cuts a little bit more. So it's more of a bikini cut is normally the term that's referred to, where you're showing off like a bikini line, a little bit of bum, but not a lot of bum.
Yes.
So those are kind of like your basic shapewear styles that you'll find, but you also find in a lot of different cuts of panties specifically. And those serve function, being shapewear, smoothing the body. There's also other panties that serve a function, especially for our girls who haven't had bottom surgery, are not considering bottom surgery, or live between genders as the mood strikes. And that's gaffs. So I have demonstrations. So I have here a bikini style thong and a gaff style thong. Both are thongs, which means it reveals a whole lot of bum.
Right.
But there is a structural difference as to how it fits on the body. So the biggest thing, and we'll start with the front here, the biggest cut difference that you'll see between a gaff and a regular panty is the width. So you'll see here, the gaff itself is actually quite wide from side to side compared to the thong. Granted, this is a lingerie one, so there's quite a bit of stretch, and it's a bigger size, so little misleading. It is designed to just kind of sit on top of everything, whereas a gaff is normally constructed using four-way stretch. So it's meant to stretch across, and that stretching fabric, like on my shirt, it pulls tight and taut, so it starts to look a little flatter because it's holding just like shapewear. So that's one of the first big things that is different between a gaff and a regular panty. The next big difference beyond that wider front it'll be hard to tell, but it's also wider between the legs. And this one, actually, we're gonna remove these here. So the big challenge when we talk about something that is a regular panty is between the legs is very, very thin. Mm-hmm. And that's not holding anything. That is covering things, but it's not holding things. Where that differs with a gaff is because, of course, it's designed to hold things in place. It is significantly wider between the legs. So the whole idea of this is, rather than just laying on top of the anatomy when you've tucked things back, it's not only laying on top, it's doing that stretch, holding close, but it's also giving you that security because the elastic on the outside is also helping to hold everything tight and up against your body. So it's a lot more secure, so you don't have the accidental slipping out the side, whereas something like this, it's really cute, but it's just meant to lay on top of the body rather than hold anything in place. The final thing that will be different between a regular gaff and a regular panty will be the cut of the backside. If it's a thong, it will be wider in the back, again, for comfort, to prevent chafing, to prevent irritation, compared to a regular thong, which will be, again, just something very thin in the backside. Gaffs aren't only available in thong styles. They are the most common that we find, but there are gaffs out there that are bikini cuts. I've seen full coverage. I've seen tangas, which is a different cut of panty that's kind of between a bikini and a thong. So there's lots of different types, but that primary functionality of how the fabric stretches and how it sits between your legs specifically to hold things up and close to you is where this is different from this.
Right, right.
So that's the big difference. Now, thongs themselves are not comfortable. No one goes, wow, that's really, really comfortable. But they are important because they serve a function. The reason why a thong panty specifically is important, and I'm just going to quickly dress our mannequin here, is when you are wearing something that is close fitting to the body, you don't have the visible panty line if it's sitting snug against your bum. So that is one of the big draws of a thong specifically, is if someone's looking at your bum, they don't see your panties. That's simply it. That being said, if it's tight fitting through your hip bones, this line can still be visible, which is where you find the draw of a G string or a groin string, which is what the G stands for. Right. These are even less comfortable. These don't serve any functional purpose other than to eliminate panty lines and be very uncomfortable. This is what you find with most lingerie. If you're ordering a cute little bra and panty set, or like a camisole and they include a free panty, this is normally what you get. It's a little piece of triangle fabric and some elastic. It's cute. That's all it does.
You're encouraging that.
What's different about this one, just because I've got it out, is this is what's known as an open crotch panty, which is the idea is that it's not fully a solid piece of fabric. This is definitely intimacy based. It is not a practical panty. The average person is not going to be like, this is going to be what I'm going to wear today, because it doesn't do much. But, if you're going on a date, great.
Exactly. And I think those are great points, because so many of our members, especially over on CDH, talk about, the types of underwear that they like to wear. And many of them talk about a gaff. Many of them talk about a thong style. And so understanding that difference between a standard, we'll say women's thong that you would get in the women's department, and a specialty gaff that you would get somewhere, either at the breast form store or somewhere else. They have that specific purpose that is very beneficial for a lot of our community.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Is like a thong is specifically designed for someone who wants a more feminine, flatter front, who feels insecure about what is down there and just wants that security without any slippage or anything like that. It is a super practical garment that's designed specifically for function of making things look smoother, but for comfort, which is the big thing, and to prevent wardrobe malfunctions.
Right.
Now, when we talk specifically about tucking and creating a flatter shape, the other thing that is often done, if it's not a gaff, is normally wearing a panty or two panties or three panties, depending on how you do it, normally in a microfiber fabric that's a couple of sizes too small to squeeze everything up and in. And the most common shape that's actually used for that is a really unflattering term, but it is a very common one because it's a cute design style, but not a nice name in our communities is this particular cut of panty here. So this is normally it would be in a solid microfiber or a seamless panty. This will in something that's a little bit smaller than what you measure that will get layered. That creates a flatter, smoother kind of squeeze as well. In this cut, which is known as a boy short. And the reason why it's called a boy short is because if we look at that backside, we have that more of a straight line coming across the bum rather than the bikini, which would be more up here. So it's kind of like the idea of a boxer brief of being a little bit more athletic looking, thus boy short. There's nothing wrong with a boy short. They're very comfortable. They're very cute. Sometimes it's also referred to as a hipster because it sits across the hips. But this particular style of panty is quite often used by girls looking for that tuck as well, because the idea is that that fabric squeezes, but it's giving that same idea of more coverage.
Sure.
The challenge with this is because the panty itself is normally, it's like a rectangle. There isn't generally a whole lot of support between the legs. Sometimes you'll have something sewn in nicely like this one where there's a full gusset. Other times it's literally just two pieces of fabric and a seam. Doesn't give you a whole lot of support to prevent slippage, which is where girls tend to layer the panties to get the support.
Sure.
But boy shorts are not the enemy. They are very, very cute. Now, we've gone from very, very sexy to practical with a purpose with Gaffs. There's also your in-between everyday panties that come in a variety of different cuts and styles. If we're going to stick with the sexy side of things, this is actually teeny tiny, but it's adorable. This is that same sort of idea of a mesh panty with lace in the front. It is, if we were to put it waistline wise, actually we'll use this one. Waistline wise, whereas the Gaff, we've got kind of the hip bones, same sort of idea, is this style of panty will come up about midway to cover the pubic bone without coming all the way up to our belly button up here. So it's a little bit of a lower rise cut, and it is a little bit less, or a little bit more revealing on the backside. So it's a little bit more exposing of the bum when we look at the cut of it, because it's sometimes referred to as a French bikini or a French panty, where it shows a little bit more bum, but not all of the bum. And then, of course, because it's a sheer fabric, extra sexy.
Yeah.
Where that compares to a little bit more of a practical yet sexy panty, which is your general everyday style, is something like this. This is a super cute one. It is still all lace, but you've got a cotton liner on the inside, which hides things a little bit more, so that you've got a little bit more coverage in the front, and you've got a little bit more comfort. You don't have lace directly on the skin, which after all day, especially in a hot and humid environment, can be a little irritating. But it is more of that standard bikini cut where you've got a cute little lace edging, but it's covering some of the bum, but not all of the bum. And this is a really common style. Now, one thing I will say, and this is an interesting conversation piece, none of these panties have a very large, noticeable elastic waistband.
Right.
So that is something that, again, we associate with boxers, boxer briefs, is that thick elastic band. There are panties out there that have that design, and it's intentionally meant to be a little bit more tongue-in-cheek because it's a little bit more masculine. It's quite often that's where you'll see the brand name. So you'll see Victoria's Secret, Pink, Honey Burdette, or something on that. And it's meant to be a play on masculinity in a very feminine item. But regular panties, unless you're shopping for that specifically, you don't really see it. It tends to be that more delicate lace line at that top rather than something that is doing all of the support at the hips.
Right. Yeah, I think, a lot of times, again, members of our community will really kind of get drawn towards the sexier side, where maybe those of us that live in those panties every day are going more towards the, kind of more practical, high cut briefs, those kind of things, the Fruit of the Looms of the world, right? That are just there for comfort. But yeah, I think the real bottom line is finding those pieces that make us feel our best selves, and that give us the shape and the results that we want. And you're giving us so much information here. This is wonderful.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is when it comes to what you're wearing down below, I mean, at the end of the day, your undergarments are yours and yours alone.
Right.
If you're comfortable in them, if you enjoy wearing them, that's the home run. That's
Absolutely.
all that matters. And whether you go with something a little bit more functional, a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more sexy, doesn't matter as long as it works for you.
Right.
But it's also important to know, okay, I really don't want panty lines because this is a really nice dress. Sometimes you got to make the sacrifice and wear something that's not going to be super comfortable, but it's going to make your butt look good.
That's not how you feel, it's how you look.
Right.
Well, if you're going for the aesthetic, you got to go for the aesthetic. Now, that being said, over the last probably 10 years, there has been an increase in what's known as a seamless panty, which is a very specific type of, again, very stretchy fabric. Usually it's a modal, sometimes it's a microfiber, where it is literally just a single piece of fabric with no seams. They've done no trimming, there's no edging, there's no elastic, and its whole purpose is to be a more comfortable alternative to a G-string or a thong, because it's thinner, flatter, smoother, so you don't have the seam where this fabric is folded over and ran through a sewing machine. That, even in a seamless panty, under something tight fitting, you will still have a panty line, but it will be significantly less noticeable because it's one layer of fabric rather than a piece of fabric rolled over and sewn. Right. So it's better. It's a more comfortable alternative. It's not as cute, again, for the aesthetic, but it is a comfortable option. And it is one of those panties that is that silkier, smoother feeling that does feel really nice. And that's really important. And actually, while we're talking about panties, this is actually an interesting piece of conversation here that I will use with this one here, is the construction of the panty itself. So inside a woman's panty will be this little extra layer of fabric. This is called the gusset. Mm-hmm. And this is meant to serve a functional purpose to reinforce the panty for where the most friction is, because as you walk, of course, your hips are moving. There's chafing that happens in that area where the fabric is going to rub. Right. It is also meant to protect the panty itself because of trying to be medically correct, but not say anything YouTube's not going to like. Because there we go. We'll use the word secretions. There are anatomical things that do occur that lead to pH imbalances, which can affect the fabric of the panty itself. So it's meant to increase durability for it. It is not a secret spot to hide snacks, which I have seen referenced so many times. This particular gusset is meant to be fully sewn at the top and the bottom on that panty if it's a well-constructed panty. A lot of times, and Victoria's Secret is a great example of a company that always messes this up. They will only sew one end of the gusset to the panty, normally where the seam is. So where the seam between the legs is, they'll start it and they'll sew it to the edges and they'll leave one edge open. Again, it's not a secret pocket for hiding things. It's just lazy craftsmanship.
Yeah.
But that is a very important thing. That is a function of a panty that is there for a reason. It's not extra fabric just sewn there just because.
Sure. Yeah. Right. It has to be functional too. So.
Yeah. At the end of the day, everything we do, everything we wear serves a purpose, whether we realize that that's its purpose, right?
Right.
Someone took the time to come up with it, invent it, tweak it, and then the rest of us went, I like that.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes from. All right. Are there any panty related questions or anything like that before we move on?
Well, I guess, because we come in all different sizes, when we talked about shapewear or we talked about dresses, we talked about sizes and things that might fit better on different body styles. Are there similar differences, similar types of things that we could look at with panties?
Honestly, I find panties are really ultimately a comfort situation. It's what works best for you. It's different if you are specifically going for pairing it with certain types of clothing. So, for example, you don't want the panty lines. Your options are limited to thong, G-string, seamless panty, because that's the function that you're going for. It's not so, or if you're wanting to have that shapewear element of something that's going to squeeze the tummy and flatten and smooth things out where you want that higher waist.
Sure.
So that's where that functionality comes from. It's different if you're like, okay, well, I'm going to do a boudoir photo session and I want my figure to look as good as possible because these photos are going to be immortalized forever. Then it's just going to come down to what else is in the look. Are you wearing a garter belt, stockings, things like that? But there isn't a hard rule of this body type should only wear hipster panties. It's, do you feel good in it?
Right.
Is it comfortable for you to wear for 2 hours, 5 hours, 15 hours, however long you're wearing it? Like at the end of the day, if you're comfortable in it, if it feels good, that's the winner.
Right. Absolutely. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that one's really easy. It's just personal preference.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Right. And we all have those.
Exactly. And you know what? Your personal preference will evolve over time as you get used to wearing certain things or as you experiment with different stuff. You may find that you really like something more silky. You may find that silkier fabrics bother you after time and you prefer cotton or modal. Whatever works.
Right. Right. Awesome. Good. Dee, anything comes to mind with you?
No, but I kind of contemplating one of the questions we're going to get, and I suspect that it's off limits for you, Eden, is like, okay, well, we've got a gaff. How do we use it and how do we tuck everything in?
So that is, again, personal preference and personal comfort levels. So some people will literally just put that panty on, that gaff on as a panty, and that's good enough for them. Great. There's people who will just kind of put their hand there, push everything back, pull on the panty. Again, if that works for you, great. Some girls are a little bit more extreme and a little bit more adventurous, and I don't have these body parts, but it sounds very painful to me. I have heard of girls who will push the testicles up into the body cavity from where they descended, then pull the penis back, put on the gaff. That does create an incredibly flat look. It sounds like it hurts a lot. So I can't say I would recommend it, but if you want to give it a try, do it very carefully. Take your time. Don't rush. There are girls who choose the method of taping. There are lots of tucking tapes out there. My personal opinion on that is don't. Just because we're talking about very sensitive, very delicate skin, you're talking about putting adhesive on this skin, you are likely to cause irritation. not a good choice. Again, that's personal preference. If you are going to consider that, research, make sure it's medical grade, make sure it's skin safe, make sure to do a skin check first to make sure that you don't have an allergic reaction to the adhesive, even just on your arm. Because if that adhesive doesn't work for you, the last thing you want is blistering or anything like that on even more delicate skin.
Right.
And thank you for that advice about testing your products. After 40 years doing this in our gender community, honey, I've seen those very sensitive parts being very parched, burned, and everything else from adhesives and tapes that really didn't jive with their skin. So again, thank you for that caution.
Yes, and that's a standing rule that we have as the breast form store, is to never tuck down there with a tape, just because that is something that is potentially really dangerous. I do know there are lots of products out there. I do know there's lots of girls that really trust that. I know there's trans owned businesses that have been founded around it. And again, just do your research. I'm not going to say don't buy the product. I'm going to say do the research, test it, make sure it's okay. Discontinue use immediately if it's not working. Seek medical attention if you need to. Like, you use common sense in that process. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Irritation happens. Weirder stories than yours, I'm sure, have been heard and seen by the medical professionals.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things of, again, just do your due diligence, be careful, and make sure that you understand what you're doing as you do it.
Yeah. And today, with the internet at our fingertips, you really can find all of those videos that will show you all of those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people are a lot better at educating about how to do it than others. But again, watch several, do your research, and it's just not that hard. You can get a lot of good information today, which is a whole lot different than it was 15 and 20 years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're doing it right, if you're tucking right, it's not painful. And that's a key. If you're experiencing pain, stop what you're doing because you're not doing it right. The other thing is, this is I think the only thing in the world that duct tape doesn't fix.
It's funny because that was going to be the next thing I would bring up, is because that's always that first thing, especially with the rise of like RuPaul's Drag Race and everything, is the duct tape, bringing out the duct tape for tucking. That's not the solution. That's not safe for your skin. Don't put it on your body. Don't put it on somewhere sensitive, please. It's also something that lifts up with moisture. So if you're going to sweat or anything like that, or just body movement, it's not going to hold. It's not going to do what you wanted to do in the first place. Right. And those drag queens are then putting on padding and pantyhose. They've got like 10 pairs of pantyhose on. That's what's holding everything in. That duct tape isn't doing the work. Right. So duct tape is not the solution.
Absolutely not.
Please don't.
All right. Enough of that. You've got some other important things to bring to us today.
Yes. All right. So we've talked about the panties. Now let's talk about the bras.
Yes.
And I don't have every type of bra available here, but I have, Emma, like 15 bras? 20 bras? I have a lot of bras here, so we have lots to talk about.
All right.
So we're going to start with just the different types of bras, because there are so many different cuts, so many different styles, so many different fits, shapes, functions of bras, because just like panties designed for, your comfort, your personal taste, bras are also designed to serve a function. First and foremost, a bra is designed to stop movement of breast tissue. It is meant to support breast tissue and stop it from causing discomfort to the person with the breasts from movement, from things swaying unexpectedly or pulling of the skin. So that bra is ultimately meant to support and hold things where you want them to be held. Just like a smoothing panty is holding everything close and into your body, just like a gaff is holding thing in and not slipping, having anything slip out from the sides, a bra is meant to do that same purpose. And to that same extent, there's a hard and fast rule that you can use with all bras. The more expensive the bra, likely the higher quality the elastic, the less movement you will feel, because that bra is designed to do its job better.
Right.
The cheaper the bra, the cheaper the elastic, the more movement you're going to feel. So if you want that sensation of that breast tissue moving, whether you're wearing forms, whether you've had top surgery, cheap bra is where it's at. You want the support because you're wanting a more natural experience, you know, that you're finding the discomfort in it. More expensive bra is your friend here. That's the hard and fast rule. And then there's all the variations that come for different cuts. So bras are designed in 1,001 different ways, depending on the type of breast tissue, the shape of the breast tissue, what you're wearing it for, tons of different functions. And so I have this giant stack of bras that we're going to talk about.
The box o' bras.
So many bras. So we'll start with comfort and just basic functionality. This here is what we often refer to as a bralette, or sometimes you'll hear, some of us who are old enough will remember, the training bra. It is just a cute little bra, not really a whole lot of elastic. It's generally pretty stretchy. It is more to give you the sensation that you're wearing something, maybe a little bit of coverage to prevent body parts from looking too noticeable, like you've been in the freezer, to give a little bit more discretion without giving a lot of support. It is to get someone, if we're talking about the idea of a training bra, to get you used to wearing a bra so that you are prepared for later in life. Or again, it's just cute, it's comfortable, it's not giving any support. This is something that girls who have smaller bust lines naturally will lean towards because, again, they're cute, they're comfortable, they're stretchy, they're not squeezing in or anything like that. And again, gives next to no support. So someone with a large bust, likely not going to be wearing this because it's not going to do anything to prevent the movement. This particular bra is what we refer to as a soft cup bra because the cup of the bra is very soft. It's not a molded cut bra. It's not holding its shape. And this one is completely just casual. This one here is what we would, on this side, is what we would refer to as a lined cup. So this one has a little tiny pad inside still in it that helps hold the cup's shape. So obviously this one collapses a little bit quicker. When we hold it up, it doesn't hold its shape very well, whereas this one holds its shape, and that's because of this little removable foam piece that is essentially lining that bra to hold it in shape. Right. So when we talk about a lined bra or a lightly lined bra, it's this removable piece of foam that we're talking about generally. So cute, comfortable, great place to start. Of course, when we talk about breast forms, we have another soft cut bra. This is what we would refer to as a full coverage bra because its idea is to fully cover the breast area. This particular bra is also a soft cup bra. It's cute. It's got a little bit of lace, but it is, as many of our girls will recognize, what we refer to as a pocket bra because it's got that extra piece of fabric in the back to keep a breast form in place. So it prevents your forms from moving around. You can do cartwheels down the street, and it's going to stay exactly where it should. If you are not wearing breast forms, you can still wear a pocketed bra. You just don't use the pockets. They are great in the sense that you have that extra layer of fabric. So if you're in a super hot, humid climate, it's really nice to have that extra, layer of fabric to help absorb some of the perspiration. It keeps you cool a little bit more. Now, still in that soft cup variety, there is something else that's common in bras, is underwire. So this is literally a piece of boning made of wire, thus underwire, that sits underneath the breast. And the idea of underwire specifically was, when it was invented, was meant to lift breast tissue to give more support, to hold that breast tissue looking a little bit higher up, and to make things look a little perkier. It's not because it's comfortable. It's not because it's sexier necessarily. It is meant to serve a function of lifting breast tissue, especially for someone who has bell-shaped breasts, where there's more of a hang lower on the body against the rib cage. It's meant to help lift that tissue up, to stop perspiration building up between the skin and things like that. But it's also what we find most common in push-up bras, lingerie, things like that. Because again, we think lift the girls, make things perky. So it's that traditional kind of curve. And an underwire bra will always go from that breastbone sort of area towards the armpit. It won't sit on top of that pec muscle. It is meant to come towards the underarm. So if you're wearing a chemise or a bra or something and your underwire is ending here, it's not helping support that breast tissue, because that breast tissue starts back here. So you want to, the idea is that that underwire comes in and lifts everything up and supports it all at once. So that's what that underwire function does. Some bras will also have boning at the sides, similar to the underwire, but usually it's more of a plastic boning. It's a little bit softer to allow more movement. It's meant to support excess skin, especially as we get a little bit heavier set, to help hold things in place so that it's more comfortable. Again, it's meant to do a supportive motion of holding things in so that you feel more comfortable. It is meant to be a comfortable item to wear. Shocking, I know. Now, still in the cute side of things, this is actually a bikini top, but I'm going to use this as a different cut of bra. So this is obviously a string bikini. Sometimes you have a bra that has that full cup cut, and sometimes you'll have something that is a little bit more daring, like our next two bras. So this is what you would see in the same as our training bra or our bralette, is that triangle cup. The idea of something as that triangle cup is meant to be sporty generally, because it is a little bit more athletic. It's something you will find in more lingerie styles rather than in regular bras, because it's meant to just kind of cover rather than give any sort of support. They're really cute. That's about it. Now, in that same topic of lingerie, we have many different cuts of bras. So this one is obviously an underwire bra, and it is known as a half cup or a demi cup. And what that refers to is how much of the breast tissue is it covering. So the idea, half demi, it's covering about half the breast. Normally that'll sit closer to the nipple line, depending on breast tissue. There are also bras out there known as an open cup, where it'll just be that underwire and literally no fabric. So it'll just be completely open, so the entire breast is exposed. This is not serving any function to support breast tissue. It is just there to look pretty. So it is definitely a lingerie piece, not a supportive piece. Balconettes are similar to this design, but they'll come about 3/4 of the way, usually in a straight across the bust line shape. So just like the boy short panty is more boxy, straight across the hips, a balconette is like a balcony straight across the bust line.
Right.
Then, as we continue on in that cute little sexually functionality, we have push-up bras. Now, this one here is a molded cup bra, and it's molded because it holds its own shape. It is not a soft cup bra where you can easily fold it into different shapes. This is, as they often are, a underwire bra, so it's got that extra hold, that extra lift. But what is different about push-up bras and why they tend to be our enemy in this community is they've got this big giant pad here. So the whole idea is this giant chicken cutlet that's sitting here in the bottom is meant to create essentially a shelf that someone with natural breast tissue would lift their breast tissue and sit on top of, which is pushing the tissue up the body. If you don't have that breast tissue to push up, it's just going to sit flat on your body and not really do much. If you're wearing it with breast forms, that breast form is going to sit on top of the shelf, which means it's going to be partway out of the bra, so it's pushing it out. Or even worse, if you've attached your breast forms or anything like that, the bra is then going to sit on top of the breast form and you end up looking lumpy. It is sometimes referred to when the push-up bra doesn't fit as the quad boob effect. It's a beautifully terrible description. I prefer to refer to it as the cups runneth over, where there's so much breast tissue that you're spilling out.
Right.
That's what can happen. A bra is meant to sit as a transition from skin to bra or bra to skin. So It's not meant to be noticed. So if you are spilling out of your bra doesn't fit. If that's your desired look, great.
Right.
But not its intended function. Now, this is a different style of push-up bra, and this one is incredibly popular. This is a cute little racer back design, so it's super cute. So racer back being that you've got the straps on the backside coming in like a racer back shirt, so it comes in as a little tie point. But what's different about this particular bra, first of all, it is a front close bra, which is great for someone who doesn't have mobility to reach behind them. But it is where that push-up sizing is, it's really just the cup is so thickly lined that it's adding size by adding volume in how much padding there is. Right. So there's no shelf for something like this for your breast tissue to sit on. It's just adding bulk, kind of like the way breast forms are giving you that size, except this is just foam. So this particular bra is a Victoria's Secret bombshell. It's that famous add 2 cup sizes. It's very, very cute. It's just thick foam. But it is something that because this particular one doesn't have that big chicken cutlet on the bottom, is safe to wear with breast forms because it's not going to push your breast form out of shape.
Got it.
And since we're talking about front closed bras, I guess we should probably talk about that functionality too. Front closure bras were originally invented for women of a certain age who didn't have the flexibility to reach behind them. Because you do have to have quite a bit of shoulder flexibility to reach behind to get to the middle of your back to do your bra hooks. As women get older, arthritis, things like that, it's a little bit easier to look down and use a front close. There's also lots of sexy or cute options there if you know where you're looking to find something that has that easy little snap. These tend to not have hook and eye Sometimes they do. It's usually the style where it's a little bone that you slide into place and then twist. Now, when we talk about regular back closure bras, it's the hook and eye. And we say hook and eye because these little metal grommets here are referred to as the eyes. And these are the little hooks that hook into them. Of course, if you've got the flexibility to put this on behind you, great. You don't have to. Many women will put on their bras backwards. So bring it so that the cups are behind you. Ooh, the straps are down. So you can look down, see what you're doing, put those hooks and eyes where you want them to be. I'm just going to hook 2 just for quick demonstration purposes. Spin that bra around and pull it up. Right. Now, if you're doing this with breast forms, unless it's a pocketed bra, put the breast forms in afterwards. So pull it up, breast form in the pocket, pull up the shoulder strap. That's going to be the easiest way to do it. Again, you don't have to reach behind you if you don't have the mobility to. And just like there's seamless panties, there are, in fact, seamless bras. They are not cute because, again, they serve a function. They are very, very flat. So see what I mean about there being no visible seam is it is just this edge of fabric. Sometimes it's folded over, like this particular one is actually, this piece of fabric has been folded over, glued on itself, and then cut. It is, again, the idea is that when squeezed tightly through the body, no one's going to see your bra seams. Right. Kind of counterproductive when we've got such a thick bra strap, but it is there. There are also convertible bras where the bra straps are adjustable to be a racer back, to be removable, to be strapless. What I will say is strapless bras they're for fashion, but they're not for function. They will not support anything. They don't support anything for real women either who have naturally developed breast tissue. It is like wearing a tube top. Women wearing a strapless bra, even if it fits properly, are still going to be adjusting and pulling that bra up. If you're doing that while you're wearing breast forms, welcome to the sisterhood. We're all strapless bras are just meant for when you're wearing something with straps that are spaghetti straps or strapless and you don't want your bra straps showing. That is its purpose. It is meant to serve a fashion-based function. It doesn't do much to support breast tissue. So it's not something someone would wear every day because it's not helping lift and support anything. It's not helping to necessarily be comfortable because you're going to be adjusting it. It's meant to make you look good in that particular outfit for that exact example. Right. And since we're speaking of function, sports bras. So sports bras are meant especially to stop movement. So it is very specifically to completely minimize how much movement is happening with breast tissue. They are, of course, where a lot of girls will start because it's an easy thing to buy, to throw in when you're at Walmart or Target and just throw it in the cart, not worry about it. And then you're like, well, I don't really feel any movement. Well, that's because it's doing what it's supposed to. Right. Push-up bras. Sports bras are also, because they're meant to stop movement, they also make things look flatter and smaller because it's meant to smooth more to the body. So it will make you look smaller than what you naturally are because of how it's meant to do its work of holding you close to the body. Sure. And most sports bras will have that racer back design where the straps come together in the middle at the spine because most workout wear will have that racer back design for breathability of your shoulders. Right. I think one of the benefits too for our community, Eden, of a sports bra is for someone
who, say, for example, is undergoing gender affirming hormone therapy, but is kind of moving back and forth. And as you start to get that breast development, you sometimes need to minimize it. And so a sports bra, just as you said, will flatten out a little bit and give you a little more coverage that you can continue to maybe hide a little bit until socially you've gone through all of the hoops.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is essentially a compression wear type garment. There are just as our girls go through ways to increase the bust. If we're looking at our trans masculine friends, there's the binding to minimize the appearance of breast tissue on the other side, which do your research. Please do your research before binding for the first time. Please research. But that same sort of idea of, again, minimizing that breast tissue for comfort, for practicality, whether it's because you're trying to be a little bit less noticeable, whether you're looking for that comfort. There are many different functions of a sports bra. But if you've just bought breast forms for the first time, for example, and you're like, why do they look so much smaller? Well, that is that bra's intended purpose. So when you compare that same breast form compared to your underwire bra, it's going to look totally different.
Sure.
So remembering the functionality of the bra helps a lot. And there are bras designed for modesty as well. Like, just like there's bras like sports bras that are meant to hold things, flatten things. There are bras that do have built-in modesty makers. So this is a really cute bra. This is a post-mastectomy bra as well. So it's got the pockets, but this is what is often referred to as a camisole bra. So anyone else remembers the early 2000s when everything was layers and it was like 3 t-shirts and tank tops and they all had a different color of lace? This is a great way to cheat the system. But it's also meant for anyone who is uncomfortable with their chest being visible, whether it's from scar tissue, whether maybe there's a little bit of excess hair that isn't easily removed, whether you're trying to hide a tattoo you don't like. Something like this is great because it does give that little bit of extra coverage.
Sure.
And in a bra like this one specifically, this is actually removable. So it is something that doesn't affect. So this one's got actually little buttons so that you can still have the regular cute bra as well as that full coverage option.
Right.
So those are functionalities that are out there in bras. Other functionality bras out there, as we've often heard, is also the nursing bras. This is likely not going to be a purchase made unless you find a style that's just really, really cute. This one is really, really cute.
Not likely.
Not likely, right? Yeah.
The idea of this is that if you are nursing, there's this little snap that is a real pain, a real pain, real pain that you snap so that the cup can be removed to feed the baby. It is something that usually they're pretty utilitarian. They're not normally as cute as this. They are very functional, serve a purpose bras. Just like a sports bra is meant to serve a purpose, this is meant to serve a purpose.
Sure.
And we'll save that one for last. Then there's also, as we think of utilitarian bras, there is the infamous old style M-frame bra. And we refer to a bra like this as an M-frame because if we look at the structure, it comes from the edge of the bra up to that bra strap point, down through the breastbone and back up. And it kind of looks like the letter M. Yeah. These are very functional bras. These are like your glamour bras, like the Glamour 1001 or something that are very, very common. They're normally a bra that you find in a box being sold. Like the Wonder Bra is an M-frame bra. They are usually with a really wide strap for comfort. And their best function is for very large busts because it is meant to be comfortable, breathable, not necessarily the sexiest of bras, but it does serve a very specific function for holding that large breast tissue in place.
Sure.
And the last one I've got here is a cute little retro cut bra. So this is what I have on hand as a bullet style bra. And what that is that rather than the cup of the bra being very rounded or very soft, it has been sewn to create more of a point, because retro fashions generally have a more conical shape. So something like this is meant to create more protrusion and very much that cone shape. Think Madonna and her cone bra. These are very popular with brands like Rego and things like that. If you're thinking, Dita Von Teese, very 1940s, this will be that style of bra that you're looking for. Very, very few women will have breast tissue that will work with this. It is infamously well known that women used to stuff these bras with Kleenex. So if you are finding that you are not filling out the bra, that is to be expected. It is okay to cheat the system.
So, I mean, you've shown us so many different styles. I know that, like with clothing, there is often a variation in the sizing. So please tell me that no matter what type of bra you buy, the sizing is standard.
I'm pretty sure there's no way women would have that luxury. Never.
Absolutely not.
Actually, it did. Well, no, I was going to say it didn't used to be so bad, but it was. It has gotten, over the last, I'd say 5 years, bra sizing has become an absolute nightmare. Like before, it was pretty standard of like, give me your measurements, I'll tell you this. And now we have all these brands being like, you know what, I can create a system and I'm going to do it better. And then they do something completely random and you're left guessing. It is worse than vanity sizing because there's all these different systems. And then there's brands that are trying to create their own. So it's all over the place. Bra sizing is truly a nightmare. But there are some tried and true rules that we can follow when we talk about bra sizing. So that is definitely something we can talk about. And I'm specifically only going to talk about traditional North American bra sizing. So when I talk about traditional North American bra sizing, I am talking about brands that have not modified how they do their sizing systems and are using the same system that has been used by bra brands in the UK and in North America for the last 60 years. And this is a sizing system that is not kind to someone who does not have naturally developed breast tissue. And I'll explain why. So, when we talk about bra sizing, there's two components. There's your cup size, which refers to how big your bust is in proportion to your body. And then there's your bra band size, which is an interpretation of your rib cage size, but it is not what you measure because that would make life easy. What it is when we talk about bra band sizes, that's your rib cage. That we're talking about how that bra works in relationship to what your body is. You can't change your rib cage measurement without a lot of diet and exercise. Your skeleton is your skeleton. Right. But you can figure out what size is best for you. Now, where this comes into play and where this is challenging is when you do not have naturally developed breast tissue. And the reason why, and I'm going to demonstrate on myself here, is with traditional North American bra sizing and UK bra sizing, your bra band is not taken from your underbust. Again, because it would make life easy. When we take that measurement for someone with naturally developed breast tissue, it's actually taken at the armpit. So in this case, I measure about 38 inches at my armpit. However, if I take this tape measure and I bring it below my bust, I am 33 and a half. That is a huge difference.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because breast tissue exists more than just here. It exists from the armpits. It does come up into the shoulder muscles here. So it covers a larger area. So when we talk about bra band sizing, we add inches to get to the armpit measurement, because 33 and a half, 38, that's a 4.5 inch difference. That's weird. But if we are someone who does not have naturally occurring breast tissue, whether you are assigned male at birth, you've never had naturally developed breast tissue because that's the way your body is, or if you're a breast cancer survivor and had your breasts surgically removed, your measurement here and at your armpit will be the same. So if you take this measurement, say I didn't have naturally developed breast tissue, I will be 33 and a half here, and I will be 33 and a half here, which means if I try and wear a bra for up here that matches that measurement, it's not going to fit down here. Right. Because that measurement was meant for up here, because it was less intimate to put a tape measure on someone else if you put it in their armpit.
Right.
Or so I guess. I'm guessing with that, but that armpit measurement. So that's why we add the inches. We have technical issues.
Yes,
so,
we have. Yeah.
One moment.
Yeah, your video's frozen.
Yeah, but that's okay. You can keep going with this, and we'll just keep moving here until we figure that out.
This might be a little bit of a longer technical issue. So can we do a temporary pause while we sort this out?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it'll cut off our recording, and there she goes. All right. So I tell you what, I'll bet we can probably get Eden to wrap this all together at our next video on the breast forms.
You know what? I think that's a good place to start, because it'll kind of be a transition point. Because like I said, I can talk for a while.
Right.
You know what? We love that you do, and we are happy to have you.
Absolutely. So why don't we just do that, because we've got that technical difficulty. We'll wrap. Hank, there we go. Dee and I are back. And we'll say our goodbyes here. I think, again, you've seen how difficult a subject this is, the different styles, whether you're talking panties or you're talking bras. We're now just getting into the whole idea of how do we measure ourselves and what size. And Eden will talk next time about cup size and all of those things that we didn't get to this time. And we will move into that area that many of our members like to talk about, and that's breast forms. Kind of care and feeding of breast forms. What are the best types to buy based on your body style and based on the look that you're trying to achieve. The different qualities and grades of breast forms, and Eden will take us through all of that the next time. So with that, Dee, I'm going to let you wrap us here.
All right. Well, Eden, thank you so much for being with us today. And Emma, slaving away in the background, we don't want to leave you out of it, because you both are working so hard to help our community. We love you to pieces. Thank you. Now, for our viewers, we're going to get this episode posted up on CDH and TGH. It'll be available on our YouTube channel. You're not going to have to wait so terribly long to hear the rest of this story on breast forms. I think we're recording in about 3 weeks, and we've already got that scheduled, and we'll get that one posted up right away. But for our family, we're so happy that you joined us. And just like when we started, many of you, you're joining us as a good morning. Some of you, it's a great afternoon. And for some of you, it's a wonderful evening and a way to top things off. But we thank that you joined us and that you're a part of our family and a part of our community. Good night, April. Good night to our family. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Good night.